I'm joined now by that also former Trump aide, Sam Nunberg, who was also a Mueller witness, and David Corn, Washington bureau chief for Mother Jones. Sam, you said Roger Stone would not get away with witness tampering. That is true today. Your reaction?
Well, I was actually surprised in light of Credico, who gave a testimony to the defense when saying that he didn't actually believe that Roger was really going to threaten his dog. But irregardless, Roger, as I said before, really made himself a target, and he made himself a target the entire time of the election, and without Ari, as we know, coordinating with the Russians themselves. So this is really something where, as you said earlier, this is something where, is Donald Trump going to pardon him? I happen to believe no. But let's go back. Had Roger testified at Congress in 2017 that he had talked to the president directly about WikiLeaks, the president would have had a lot of problems and a lot of difficulties.
And so what do you think accounts, well, hold 1 second. What do you think accounts, Sam, for Roger's poor choices then?
Roger has an undying loyalty to Donald Trump, and I also think to the office of the presidency as well. I think that Roger is someone who has a long relationship with the president. He knew when I was talking with him in 2017, it was obvious to us that the president was on the precipice, we thought, of getting removed from office. Steve Bannon, one of the witnesses, used to tell me frequently that Trump should be, he's going to be kicked out by the end of 2017. Then it was 2018, then it was 2019. And he's there telling, testifying against Roger as well about WikiLeaks coordination, dealing with Roger. But the long or short of it is that he has a loyalty to Donald that he should not have had, that I warned him about, that I said in the grand jury as well.
David?
And I would just say that Roger Stone, in the summer of 2016, did try to help and work with the Russians. He reached out to Guccifer 2.0. He had private messages. That was the online persona of the Russian hackers. And while everybody was out there saying this is a Russian attack, Roger was out there saying, no, 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 no. It's a lone Romanian hacker. He was presenting, amplifying, boosting Russian disinformation to cover up the attack. And then he ends up lying about it to Congress in the worst possible way, saying that he had no emails related to his interactions with WikiLeaks, when he had hundreds of emails related to this material. So he was a scoundrel. He helped the Russians pull this off, whether he was in direct cahoots with them. He helped get the cover story across throughout the summer of 2016, and he was in touch with Trump. And I think, and they didn't get into this because it wasn't part of the case, I think that Trump worried that Roger was indeed the conduit who would make it look as if the campaign had indeed colluded with WikiLeaks. They were trying to get inside information.
Which would be a huge deal. David, what do you think of the oddity that it was Republicans who summoned Mr. Stone to go testify, and it was the Republican House that he's convicted of lying to today?
Well, I think Sam could tell them, a lot of you could tell them that Roger is not a guy who you would call truthful from the very start. It's an agenda. He's been out there for years doing whatever he thinks is necessary to get him an advantage at that moment in time. He was working hand in glove with Alex Jones, a foul conspiracy theorist, throughout the 2016 campaign. I had no idea why they thought he could help them, except he did come in and lie and basically said, and basically put up a firewall between the campaign and WikiLeaks, when he indeed was, at least he was trying to be, the go-between, and gave Donald Trump that impression.
As you say, he was declaring himself the go-between publicly when it suited him. Sam, finally, it is important to note that the jury's acceptance of this evidence is a judicial finding today. This is true today and wasn't true yet yesterday, that in the American Court of Law, there is now a finding that suggests Donald Trump lied to Bob Mueller or misled Bob Mueller, which could be a separate crime. Do you think that Donald Trump, your old boss, lied here, in contrast to what Stone ultimately was proven to have done in court?
I think he gave a lot of caveats, Ari, as we saw in the Mueller report when he answered that question. What I would say is I don't know his state of mind, but I do think And I do think that he did discuss this with Roger. And
well,
I do think.
Hold on. You've been in the grand jury room.
Right.
Sam, you've been in the room. You've been under the heat. Do you think Donald Trump was truthful or not about this?
Ultimately, no. And I would also note here that as opposed to Manafort, as opposed to Flynn, as opposed to Bannon, but as opposed to Manafort, Flynn, and Gates, Roger's indictment, Roger's charges he was found guilty of solely relate to this investigation. It's analogous to Scooter Libby. And if the president has already pardoned Scooter Libby, I don't understand why he wouldn't pardon Roger. We shall see, but I doubt he will.
Yeah, look, obstruction is no small matter, but you do make an accurate legal point, which is this was a crime of obstruction without any other underlying offense. The Libby pardon was by many seen as a signal. We will see what happens. Sam Nunberg, always appreciate you coming on with your experience. David Corn and More Than One Block. Thanks to both of you. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.